Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where real estate meets real life skills. Hosted by Andrea Lane and Alissa Bickar, each episode features investors turning their unique edge into long-term rental success.
Hello and welcome to the Built for This podcast. I am your co-hostess, Alissa Bickar, the consultress, bringing you amazing conversations with real estate investors who bring themselves and their experience to the table in building their real estate investment business models. Andrea, who do we have for him today?
So we have with us Cameron Carrozza. And Cameron, I'm very excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Happy to be here. Yeah.
And so just a little bit about Cameron. He lives in Tennessee. He's from California. He invests in Kentucky. He currently has 18 doors and looking to grow. So that being said, Cameron, why did you get into real estate investing?
Because long story short, I like to make money in my sleep and be able to retire one day. So that real estate just seemed like the best way to go about doing it. And the more I learn about it and the more I get myself ingrained in it, there's so many other different benefits to real estate. So that's why we haven't stopped.
Great. And what do you love most about real estate?
The people that I get to meet along the way. What do they say in business? You're not supposed to get business from friends, but you're supposed to get friends from business. And that's what I've gotten in our teams that we've built now in Kentucky.
I love that because this is all a people business. It's not a property business, right? So
it really is. Yeah.
It's all about people. And I love that part of the business as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how do your professional and your people skills translate into your real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, like we said, it's a people business. I come from a sales background. And so just getting to meet with people, finding out, sort of what their pain points are, what they're looking to accomplish, really translates over. And especially our new rental strategy that we're having, we're able to connect those two with our properties.
Okay, I heard a couple of things like people business, sales background. Do tell. Fill us in a little bit about your origin story here. Where did you come from? Because you said in our green room, we heard your move was within the last 10 years and you started buying at that point. So what brought you like your sales or your professional experience? Tell us a little bit about kind of where you came from.
Yeah, so my parents are serial entrepreneurs. They had a medical laboratory, so I grew up that my whole life. I like to joke around that I was probably a test tube baby for all I know, because just been in the medical field my whole life. And then from there, got into the pharmaceutical sales industry, and actually still am in that. Really enjoyed that. And just having that entrepreneurial mindset, because there really is a different mindset between a boss or an owner and an employee. So just know that the buck stops with you. You've got to make those hard calls, and you can't just, especially in real estate, if, we just had this weekend, there was a plumbing backup. And so my property manager called me and was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, we have to take care of the client. So that's all my responsibility. So just knowing that and not getting freaked out has really helped shape the mindset to where we are now. And then making the move out here, leading my family, we've got my wife and 3 kids. It was, I've got to take that leadership with the help and support of my wife, right? I couldn't do it without her. But yeah, just really with that and owning this, taking care of my folks that are my guests right now.
Nice. So what's your unfair advantage? What did you learn by being in the sales and marketing and, your previous life before you got into real estate that actually pumps you up in the real estate business?
Yeah, so absolutely. What do they say? The riches are in the niches, and to be able to see things that other people can't, and really going after that. So we'd been buying several duplexes, and then in the after COVID, interest rates started going up. It was really hard to make the numbers work. And as much as the real estate is a people business, it's also in a very numbers business. And I'm not in the point of where I want to buy properties just to buy properties. I want them to cash flow. And so when that cash flow sort of dried up, it was, okay, what do we do from here? And so we invested and got in a real estate group. And then I learned about midterm rentals. And so I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure you've heard about them. So what we've done is we've switched our position to now go target corporate clients and insurance displaced families and travel medical professionals. And so by just, I think, being in tune from that ownership perspective of constantly needing to be able to pivot, to get to our ultimate goal, that's what we've been able to do. That's what's helped.
Yeah.
I love that I heard your unfair advantage is staying nimble, making sure that as your situations change, yes, people are unpredictable, and markets can be unpredictable, and staying in tune. I love that, like, you see things that other people can't. These are just a couple of the themes I heard along your storyline that is like, oh yeah. So the way that I've been primed to think, the way that I grew up, the way that I formed my thinking in my career has now given me that competitive advantage to be able to see things moving and adapt more quickly. Because I used to say, if you see it on the front page of the news, it's already yesterday's news.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you hear the trend, look out, man, because it's not.
Exactly. Well, not only that, like so many of the people that I talked to said, "Oh, I'd love to get in real estate, but you can't make any money in it right now." And it's like, that's just so you just cut off your mind of like, no, there's a way to do it. And that was one thing my parents really drilled into me was find a way. And I'm trying to drill that into my kids too. No, there's always a way. You just have to find it. And so it's easy to say, oh, it's not working or that can't be done nowadays. It really can. You just got to take one additional step and chances are you'll find it.
Oh, I love that.
I agree. So what's been your biggest challenge or struggle lately in real estate?
Well, I guess it's like everyone's capital, right? We've come into a good market and we see the need where we've been 100% booked. We have waiting lists. And so it's just that next level of scaling up. We've been trying to do that with getting lines of credit on our rental properties, which has been fantastic. And it has allowed us to get several new properties, but it's just capital.
Right. Scaling up is always a concern when you're building your business. I certainly
Correct.
understand that. I spent a lot of time getting out on the street.
Yeah.
So what's a recent win or lesson that you've learned?
Yeah, that's a great thing. I think it's just we reevaluated our business, once we heard about the midterm rental and we wanted to scale that. We went up and we actually bought 3 homes and then converted a detached garage into a studio unit. And so it's our 4 homes that we have there. And then again, that scaling model, it was, well, what do we do now? And so my wife was saying, well, we have these 7 duplexes. Why don't we just try converting those? And, I didn't think the market was there for it, but we're sort of the mindset of Richard Branson. At some point, you just got to say, screw it, let's do it. And so we tried furnishing one over and it got booked up day one. And then we said, okay, well, let's do another one. And so we booked that one. And so now we have 3 of our duplex units that are booking, and it's significantly increased our revenue.
So based on what I'm hearing, you want to scale, you don't have money, but you invested a lot in the properties you have. So how is it that you look for money as opposed to just looking for yourself?
How I look for money instead of, I'm sorry, you can clarify that, like look for money instead of just looking for myself?
Yeah. So if you're using your bucket of money, you're going to run out. That's an absolute. So what are you doing to change that?
We've had several people who have said, hey, I see what you're doing. Can we give you money and you go invest it? When you take other people's money, it gets dicey. And I don't know if it's worth, if the juice is worth the squeeze, right, as they say. And so what we've been trying to do is scale this up slowly, but where we're not overextending ourselves. We do have a pretty long line of credit right now. And so as we're converting over these duplex units that we have, it'll be about a year before we can convert all of them over, just as the leases come up. We're pretty happy with that, what the cash flow will give us each month. And then we'll start stacking that and then go to sort of phase 2 on the next round. So
that clears it up for me, because I was wondering, you've got a couple of you said mostly duplexes and a couple other. Is your strategy right now to flip them all to MTR? And I think that's the answer. Yeah, you're putting them all in midterm right now.
Yeah, there's 4 that I don't think would be a good fit for it, so we're going to keep those as long-term rental. But everything else, we're going to do that. So that's sort of our strategy. I'm also getting to the point where more is not always better.
Oh, there it is. Right
so,
there. Thank you. Say more.
Yeah. No. Well, it's just, it's like we're if we convert over what we currently have, we're content. It's actually more than what I ever thought would be possible. And so it's just, if we bring on more, it's more headache. And so that's, I've got 3 young kids. I want to be able to spend more time with them. And we've been doing a lot to scale up to where we are now. It's sort of, my daughter's about to be graduating high school, and like, I want to spend as much time as possible with her. So
Family's most important. I'll tell you.
absolutely.
Yeah, and they also light a fire under your butt. You know, I single, and then I was with my husband, my boyfriend at the time, and then we got together, we had kids, and I was always like, I thought I didn't have time before. I thought I was a busy person. They really do help you to snap into focus and really prioritize. So some of the things for me, and I know for Andrea, is like, what am I building that can provide for the lifestyle that I want, and that also provides the cash to fund that lifestyle as well. So in your real estate investment business, what is the larger goal? Is it to replace your active income? Because I know you said you're kind of still involved in the pharma sales realm as well. What's the end game for you in terms of your real estate?
Yeah, so I think if we can convert these duplex units over by end of next year, that'll more than double our income of what we currently are getting. So that's enough to replace my income and then pay for all my expenses at the same time. And then I think at that point, we just reevaluate, what do we want to do? One of the things, sort of going back to the sales side, is how our secret sauce is, I've been getting connected with the cities that I'm working in and the economic development. So I know all these businesses that are coming in, and these businesses, there are very large companies coming in that they need construction workers, they need housing for that. So now I'm the go-to person for them. So phase 1, I guess I would say, is just finish converting these over, kind of reevaluate, get back some of our capital that we put into furnishing these things, because they're not always cheap. And then, have the option at least of, do I want to walk away, or, okay, now if I do walk away, can we scale this up to the next round? Because we'll have a fresh set of things with that.
And in balance, like, more is not always better, but how much more I love that your plan here, because most of us who sign on to be a real estate investor and make it a business model is like, I want this to replace the active income. Yeah. There's such thing as truly passive income, as Andrea always says. Sure. And to decide what your role can be in that long-term strategy, and make that your role moving forward, so it frees you up from the other obligations of your time, to spend time with family, or to spend some extra time, like your allocation of time, to be able to build more of the business. I love what I'm hearing here. And it sounds like you've got your priorities in order, which is a breath of fresh air. A lot of times you hear about people who go hard or go home, and then they go for bust and they burn out. It really does sound like to me that, you have some, what is the word? Temperance in your growth strategy, and that you know why you're doing it, and you know what it is that you want from it. So, ladies and gents, if you don't already know Cameron, like, you totally have to reach out, because you're an inspiration in the field here. So as we're wrapping up our interview, we already heard some of your exciting plans about the next 6 to 12 months, converting over to your mostly to midterm, and then reevaluating once you have that time freed up. Where should people go to connect with you, to learn more, or to get more inspiration from you?
Yeah, so you can get me on LinkedIn, just Cameron Carrozza, will be in the show notes. And then also on Instagram, I'm doing a lot of things on there for just Cam Carrozza. You can look at me up on that.
Yeah, and you did want us to mention your website, so that people can email you, or to go to the website when and if they're ready. And that was?
Yeah, it's Home Sweet Housing, SWEET housing.com. So instead of Home Sweet Home, homesweethousing.com.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Cameron, for being here and interviewing with us. Andrea, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nope. I think you're on the right track and heading in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
And that, coming from Andrea, is really substantial. This woman's been in the business 40 plus. She's helped me with my deals, and I just think the world of her. It's why we're doing this thing together. So Cam, high five. Blessed to have you here. And if you are listening to this on our broadcast, stay tuned. We have another amazing guest lined up for you right after this. Don't go away.
This wraps another episode of Built for This. If you're a real estate investor with a unique edge, apply to join us at builtforthisshow.com/guest.